But one thing that I want to do first and foremost is to prove that Behemoth and Leviathan are in fact one and the same creature. For do notice in an instant that while God boasts of each creature's formidable particulars, no part of Behemoth is described for Leviathan, and conversely, no part of Leviathan is described for Behemoth. And although it ought to be admitted that the nose and mouth of each creature is indeed mentioned, the mouth of Behemoth is only mentioned as a marker, i.e. unto his mouth, and the nose of Leviathan is only mentioned as that by which an animal may be tethered. Neither of these instances are mentioned in boast. Therefore, if we combine the disparate portrayals, then we can behold Behemoth and Leviathan as one and the same, and piece together the entire stupendous portrait of this greatest of God's creatures. The strength in his loins and belly, his sturdy tail and thighs, his bones like brass and iron, and his powerful neck, and his fearsome mouth, moreover his jaws and teeth, his flared nostrils and fiery breath, and his adamant heart, and all wrapped up in his tight scales. And so, just to clarify with some chosen points, God speaks of Behemoth's loins and belly, but not of Leviathan's. God speaks of Leviathan's eyes and teeth, but not of Behemoth's. God speaks of Behemoth's tail and thighs, but not of Leviathan's. God speaks of Leviathan's neck, but not of Behemoth's. God doesn't compare these two because, in fact, they are one and the same creature. Furthermore, we can notice that, while ending his portrayals of Behemoth, God lastly tells of man's incapacity to capture Behemoth, and God continues with man's incapacity to capture Leviathan. Therefore, it would appear now, after what I have already posited, that the continuation is due to the fact that this whole terrible appraisal is of the same creature, the notion being that God calls this immense creature the Behemoth of the land and also the Leviathan of the sea. And so it's at this juncture in the chapters that we notice that God is revealing to the reader that Behemoth/Leviathan is quite at home in the water as well as on the earth. He's amphibious. Job 40:23, Lo, the river may rage, he is not disturbed. He is confident, though the river Jordan gushes up to his mouth. At this verse, the KJV misses the mark. We can know this from the bigger picture that I am to present. The interpretation above is essentially word for word from the interlinear Bible, except for what's in parentheses. The interjectory word lo is employed because of the greater attention required here, because there's to be a dramatic change in the setting. Before now, the idea was of Behemoth lazing under the shade of the trees amid the reeds and willows, shaded from the heat of the sun, laid beside the marshes while having the effluent tune of the stream in his ears. But now Behemoth is on the move, and although the river be turbulent, he is undeterred. Though the force of the river be strong, he is unhindered, even as the choppy waters reach up to his mouth. The Behemoth of the land is moving to be the Leviathan of the sea.